All right. We're back. It's been 2 weeks. Tech packs are due. The official footwear design podcast, TPD footwear design podcast. I am Jake.
I'm Caulin.
am myself a senior footwear designer. This is Caulin.
The guy on the sidelines. We're hanging out.
Hey, we said it before. We'll say it again. He has footwear on the market. Okay. That's real. And look, and not just anyone's gone to Pencil. Okay. You can't just walk off. You can't just walk into Pencil. Okay. You got to be something. Also, he's better at Gravity Sketch than I am. So
catch me in the metaverse.
we need to get in. We need to get in. We need to do it.
Yeah.
Another thing. Footwear is deep. We have a lot to cover. I'm sure we'll figure out how to get into the metaverse and record it, or just talk over it.
Gravity. We're doing a Gravity Sketch podcast session. It's soon come. It will soon come.
Yeah. We're gonna be bumping into walls. That was a terrible joke. That was not even it's not funny because it's not what happens. It's like
you're sitting while you're just have the headset on. It's funny.
And the new ones have pass through almost always on.
Yeah,
and you
it's
can
see
everything. Man, but we are hot off an episode. It feels like it was forever ago.
Yeah.
Just because of in my life, what's been going on. And you might have noticed that we've been a little quiet on the social side. But I will say the views on Valerie's episode are popping.
You guys showed up. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for real. And she definitely put us over the mark of 100 subscribers. We're at 115.
Let's go.
Which is crazy to think that there's 115 of you that want to hear us talk seriously, honestly about footwear from people who are in the industry. It's it's awesome. It's like a little thing I just thought of. It's like a pet project, but I think it's starting to resonate with people. We are hearing from people. Mm-hmm. We've had people actually request to be on the show.
Yes.
Which is so weird.
But it's cool. So we have a list that we're working through. If you want to be on the show and you're part of the industry, please reach out and we'll see what we can do to make it happen.
Correct. We have a master list. Both people that we've actually talked to, but people we are going to go after. And it is lengthy. I mean, my gosh.
It's going.
There's no end. I mean, there are people who I think will get only after this show has gotten bigger. So with no further ado, subscribe, tell people. Again, I just have big plans for this, and I can see us a year from now, 2 years from now. This is a big deal. We have lots of serious conversations on footwear that are high level. It already is. I think it is. But I know it's going to get better. As I learn, I'm going to, say stuff as well. And as more product comes out, cause footwear is always moving. I think that's going to be great. We'll get it good. And certainly we're going to keep getting more creative with how we advertise ourselves as well. So
absolutely. And if you haven't seen Valerie's episode, just a minefield of amazing little tidbits and industry knowledge, and the sketch sesh is just a masterclass in how to use material brushes, halftone brushes, and make things just look sweet. And just to see how other people do it, how other people freestyle and mix together something in such a short period of time. Definitely go check out the episode.
Yeah, wasn't that man. Again, and I said it on the episode, I haven't seen her sketch in 8-9 years. So I didn't know what to expect. I actually have never seen her, sketch on an iPad. That's happened since, I lived through the moment where it switched over. where iPad became good enough.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know. I mean, I know she's good.
Yeah.
And I know she
Yeah.
grinds, and like I know she's got the chops.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I
Absolutely.
was not expecting. Um, and I don't know if anyone caught it, but I thought I was hot stuff. Like I was sketching, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. One's mine. Like I almost like think of it as like breakdance battle, where like one day like Ian's in the back, just like winner. And it was man, when she turned hers around, I was just so shocked. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
unreal.
Just talk about just
yeah.
absolute natural talent too, like to hear her story. You're just like, oh yeah, like my mom was an artist. I grew up sketching. I grew up drawing. I just, happened to want to do this, or what was it? She started in animation, like didn't want,
Yeah.
like wanted to do animation, like was working
Yeah.
in animation, was like, oh wait, industrial design. I'm just gonna add that. I'm just gonna do that.
Yeah. Well, we spent time I was like the Monday of the release, I listened to the episode kind of over again, and I was listening to her talk about how she was doing like the graphics for the motion graphics for Iron Man 2, and I was like, "Hey, I just like texted her. I was like, "Do you have a credit?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "I don't think so." And I was deep diving. Like I was
Yeah.
like,
You went on Disney Plus, watched Iron Man.
Valerie Weilert, Iron Man 2. Yeah, she doesn't have one, but I was like, man, I was like, if you have one, that's like,
By golly, she worked on it.
yeah, but I know she did
I
something.
know she did.
Oh man. But yeah, no. So just kind of how this episode is going to roll. We're just going to talk about a couple of things that have been interesting. I think would be good to talk about, and then we're going to recap Valerie's episode, break down some things that we think if you have listened to it or you haven't listened to it, you can go back and you can check these parts out. I think would be super interesting. Not that it wasn't the whole episode, but certainly like me talking in the intro about we're at dead stock and all that stuff. Like if you want to skip that, there's some things we can key you in on. Anyway, but no, this week I think is interesting to talk about. I don't know if too many people think about this when going into the industry, when designing shoes, is when you design, you go through your rounds, you tech pack, you create, the stakeholders sign off and they say, yeah, let's make this shoe. You cut molds. There's been 3D work done. You cut molds. Uppers have been spun. They've been pattern trialed, and they're ready to go. And you all kind of hitting yes, and then you get a shoe, which is like really exciting because it's your work and you worked hard to get to this point. But then I don't know if people really realize that there's a point at which you get this thing and then it has to be evaluated. And, not just wear tested, which I think we all kind of understand that you have to like make sure that shoes are doing the things they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But then you get into like, okay, well, what do you do next?
Yeah.
And oh man, if I didn't just have a time doing revisions, it wasn't bad because I've done this quite a bit, but it was like very muddy. Like,
right.
I really just felt like every day I was just like, kind of like, I'm going to make 1% of a change and I'm going to move this line 1/4 of a millimeter because some guy said so, or like we had a wear tester, not like, I mean, the shoe was fine, which I think was interesting too, is like the changes were not like, we're not redesigning, which is something that happens, which causes a different level of stress.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Where what you've done is like completely off the target or off the brief.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to like kind of like
reel it back in.
Yeah, you got to go back into the drawing board basically and just say, well, what else we got in the tank?
Right.
Which is like, that's my least favorite thing.
Yeah.
Um,
But the minor tweak revisions, the revisions where it's like,
oh,
it becomes
it's
monotonous, right?
it is a different level of man, because how many times can you look at the same lines and the same, and then it's
Yeah.
your work, and they're not
Yeah.
saying like, yo, change this whole thing. They're saying like it's cool. It's really cool. Give me like
But
2%, do something a little different. And so
yeah,
you're just spinning
squeeze a
on
little
like
more.
one little detail. You're just
Yeah.
like, okay, how many
Yeah.
different ways can I, you know, draw this eye row? How many different ways can I spin a toe cap?
Yeah.
And while when I say it, it sounds like first world problems. But this cost me a significant amount of stress.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh,
it's a disclaimer to you out there that you have to be resilient if you are going to be, in this industry and take a look at your work through a different lens constantly.
yeah. And I think that was one thing that I kind of learned at Brooks, and I think as I got in the years, was I kept having a manager who just said like, "Hey, you got to learn how to evaluate yourself. Like, you got to learn how to like get back and like see it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and see where the improvements can be made." And I think sometimes you get your work in, and you like really you don't want to, you don't want to budge here or there.
Yeah.
Um,
There's something to be said for like, integrity and things of that nature. I think it's hard too because um, I think it's a like many things in life. I think it's a delicate balance of like give and take. It's like what things as a designer do I feel like are like the pillars, the stable points of this that like should not change.
right.
Because at a certain in a certain aspect at a company, you're paid for that that emotion, that passion behind what you're doing. So like being stern about things that you're not going to change because you feel like the consumer, or you feel like where the vision is, or
Yeah.
where the company is going for this specific product, that has to be tempered with an ability to adapt.
Yep.
So it's delicate, right? It's a delicate balance.
Oh, just saying it makes me like get all uncomfortable. And I was trying to pry that. This is exactly one of those things I was trying to pry out of Valerie because she seemed unflappable. Like
Right.
as like and when I look back, I don't ever remember her being like, feeling the weight of any decisions or anything like that. She just kind of seemed like cool and collected. I'm sure there's been like, and she mentioned she's like, "Oh, I've had my moments," and you're like, "Okay," but I mean, we all try to deal with it like
Mm-hmm.
in different ways. Um, some I've seen some designers just kind of like go off the wall and just like freak out, and
Mm-hmm.
you're like trying to talk them off a ledge.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I've seen some designers just like go silent, like
Mm-hmm.
just kind of ghost everybody around them when it's like, gut check time to like, really deliver on something, which
Mm-hmm.
I think is like, it's just like something that like, it's again, it's like we've talked about before where like it's hard to help people understand these things without having gone through them. But I think
Mm-hmm.
you can go through them in any design function. Like you can be just a regular industrial designer. You can be a graphic
Yeah.
designer. You can be, you can be a purple. I'm
Yeah.
sure is similar. Um,
Yeah.
and
When it comes to critique time, like there are people who can take the critique. That
yeah,
being said, there are also people who cannot give a critique.
yeah,
like, there are people in the room I mean, let's just say, like as designers, we're a little on the nose, we're a little pushy, we're a little,
hmm,
what we know is right, and that's what we're paid for, right? Like we're
yeah,
paid to know what's right and move forward, but then also have the humility to understand that we won't get it perfectly right, and that we can adjust and move forward, right?
yeah,
Um, but as part of the designer's dilemma is to take feedback and choose whether or not to apply it.
yeah.
Um,
It,
eh,
and I think what's hard about that is I think when you get like depending on the size of the company too, like
yeah.
I almost feel like I have to like have it written down, like, okay, who should I like 100% listen to?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and
Who's got
who
the
should
biggest
I,
pants on in the
yeah,
room right now?
yeah, like whose opinion really, really matters.
Hmm.
And like sometimes that can be your design director. Sometimes that is a PLM who's like, no, you're doing this thing. I don't care what anyone else says. Maybe they don't see the vision, but I see the vision. Boom. And there is something to the person that signs your checks. You're like, you like,
Yeah.
you don't want to like mess them up. You want to
Yeah.
deliver there, but it's like, but sometimes I mean, it's not the same every time. Like
Yeah.
I've gone against the person that signs the checks. Like I've gone against that before,
Yeah.
and been successful. I've gone with that and also been successful.
Yeah.
I've done the opposite and been unsuccessful. Like it's just like you wade through it, but I think it's best done, I think, when everybody knows that you're just trying to do the best like
Yeah.
job possible.
Yeah.
Um but I will say, and maybe just to kind of close this this off, is like it had me, I was doing like revisions almost every night, like really just and because like where I'm at
Hmm.
and where the product is going is like that final, you know, that final tooling, that final thing that like this, whatever we do next, whatever we do is like, it needs to be so close to the real thing. Like
Hmm.
this is going to be the one that does hit the feet of the people. So it's like, it's the part where I'm definitely like, I need to be on it at
Yeah.
this point. This is
Yep.
like the point that matters.
Yep.
And um luckily I had teammates who were like more than willing to give me the space and the time.
Yep.
Um
That's
which
good.
is not always the case. Sometimes you don't have all the time in the world, but I was definitely in a position where it was like, I can do this, breathe on it, come back again tomorrow. But it did kind of linger on where I was like, okay, I've
I'm
done this
tired of
for
looking at
5
this.
days.
Yeah. I'm tired of looking
I,
at this.
I cannot possibly
Is
change
that
it. I
is
cannot
that line the same as last time? I can't remember.
like did I leave my computer open and designer two is moving lines around? Like is someone messing with me? Like,
Yeah.
but no, it's good. And you know, we got to the point where we made decisions and that feels really good. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like one of those things where it's like a good honest day's work, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you send all that off. But yeah, man. So that's why we've kind of been, I mean, I just can't do that. I can't like have free time
Hmm.
and not be like, man, I should be finishing this too correctly while making reels for
Yes.
our podcast. Like,
Yes.
so bear with me. But that it is an interesting topic. It is something that happens. It's hard to really kind of get at what it is unless you're like deep in there. But
Yeah.
it's part of being a footwear designer.
Hmm. Taking feedback and rolling with it is just the best designers can do it,
Yeah. And
but it's
being
stressful.
understanding, listening with your ears. I think like, and we'll get back to this with Valerie, is like the ego's got to leave.
Hmm.
You have to deliver for a brief. You have to deliver for the brand.
Yep.
This isn't for you. And you got to like hear what's good, what's not, what people are saying. And if you need to be able to recognize if it needs to change drastically. If your shoe is not hitting, you probably shouldn't try to hold on to it because that's when people will think you're crazy and
Yeah.
you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But like when you have the humility to say, okay, I need to change, or when you're at a point in your career where you've done it enough where you understand that you need to change. I was at the point where I was like, no, I know what I need to do because I've done this before and
Right.
I have heard this story many times over. We're keeping this, we're keeping this, we're keeping this, and we're moving. Anyway, yeah. So my plate is clear. We're shooting podcasts again. We're putting stuff out. We got lots of plans. Very exciting April coming up here. Um, we won't give too much away unless we decide to at the end. I don't know, but topic number 2 um, is the Ghost Max 2 got the Disney treatment.
Walt Disney's corpse has a pair of Ghost Max 2s on.
I was like, you know, it's so random.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm not a part of any of it, and I don't want
Mhm.
anyone thinking like that I put Mickey Mouse on these shoes, because I did not do that.
Yeah.
There's a team that took care of that.
Yeah.
But to
Color
like see my
material
silhouette and
graphics.
like blueprint,
Yeah. Blown up and
like
turned into like promo material, POP. Like, yeah.
it's it's pretty wild. But what was really funny, uh, kind of like backstory of Ghostmax 2, speaking of like tight timelines,
Right.
is like when I was designing that shoe, I think I told you this, Colin, or somebody, but I phoned in the line art like that they use for color.
Uh-huh.
Like if you see it, like the usually you try to make the Brooks path like night like elevated and like the center of attention. And
Yeah.
however I was doing the line art, like it just wasn't showing up that way. Like it was this really stubby like Brooks path, like barely sticking out of the tooling. It's like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
proportions were like really just not right.
Right.
But I was just like, hey man, I'm
We
just
got to
trying to,
keep moving. Yeah.
like, color's just gonna take this and color it.
Right.
What am I doing? Like, why am I trying to put all this effort in?
Right.
But what's funny is my I mean, I've had several bosses say this, but you know, you're not the only one that uses your line art. Like
Yeah.
that's like, so you want it to be pretty good. I didn't have time to do that, but I knew it was good enough that, you know, it could be used where it needed to be used.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere in my brain was I thinking they would put Disney graphics all over it and
That
print it
made
out like this.
a life size like cardboard cutout. It
The
just goes to
side,
show, clean up that artwork, clean up those lines, and make sure they're in layers.
oh man, the size of a truck.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
uh,
This is a point to say too. If you're not already following Tech Packs Are Due on Instagram, go follow. Also, go follow Jake on
yeah.
Instagram,
Oh
because
man.
we're posting throughout the week, and then you know he posted kind of all the POP display, all the things that were happening with this Ghost Max 2 launch event, this Disney crossover collab. There's like a Minnie Mouse version. There's a Mickey
Yep.
Mouse version too, right?
Yep. Mickey, Minnie, and just like the spring surprise, which I don't
Got
know
it.
what
Whatever
that
that
is.
is. Whatever that is. But shout out to the color material graphic team that worked on that.
Oh man. I think I
Really
know who it
cool.
was, and you know, I definitely know the manager who was a part of it, and
Mm-hmm.
she's awesome. And oh man, but yeah, they killed it. And I bought a pair of the Mickey ones. We'll have them on the show, or the Minnie.
Oh, the mini ones.
Got a pair of the Minnie
Nice.
Mouse ones. I was lucky to just like, you know, like I don't know what the heck Brooks does or how they figure out how to roll things out, but this was like a quiet release at like 9 p.m. like Pacific time on like a
Right.
Sunday night, and I was like, I'll be there. So
I think Brooks always does some cool like SMUs.
yeah,
They always do like the ugly Christmas sweater one.
yeah.
There's always like a
There's
St.
a Saint,
Patrick's Day.
yeah, St. Patty's
Yeah.
Day is like famous. It's like a
Yeah.
yeah. I want to say the Levitate 2, the one I was a part of. They put like ugly sweater on the knit, and I was like, oh man, but it's
Again,
sold
ju-
out.
yeah,
Like,
just goes to show, right? Like, especially
yeah,
when you're working with all these other designers, you're building kind of this canvas for
yep,
other people to be creative on also. So,
yep,
you know, especially when you're working with a color team, a CMF, CMG team, you know, they're going to come up with ways to make your stuff look like what you never even thought of.
yep,
And that's a good thing.
yeah, and like in yeah, very much like we've talked about it before. It's like design is the center.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you create all this stuff and then the patterns and the dyes and all the things are made, like people are going to jump in it. And you think about like season refreshes, like there's just a team dedicated like, well, how can I color it this way? Like how can
Yeah.
I infuse it with this feeling in the springtime, in the fall? And
Yeah.
they're just like people are spinning on your stuff. Like once it's created, I mean, it's like you've done the hard part. Now people
Mm-hmm.
can just like
I
use,
mean, just
yeah.
think of all the different amazing iterations that have happened on the Air Force One. You think
Oh
Bruce
my
Bruce
gosh.
Kilgore was knew that it would become like an icon. Like, no, dude.
Yeah.
Like Bruce Kilgore was just making a basketball shoe with air in it. Like.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we laugh when we think about like 85 colorways of something, but there's been like hundreds of the Air
No,
Max
there's
One
like
at this point.
yeah. Or the Air Force One has like thousands of
It's got
different
thousands?
iterations. Yeah, dude. The Air Force One,
Yeah, probably.
thousands in the thousands of iterations, definitely.
Man, that would just like that's one of those things where you're just like I don't know if you're just uncomfortable. Like if you're Bruce Kilgore, you're like, I don't know if there's a proud moment or if you're like, oh man, that is a lot. Like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Uh because you're like, I don't think anyone and I think again, well Valerie's like kind of just coming to mind. Like you're just doing your job. And you just like it's like those things where like if you build it, they will come kind of a situation where
Yeah.
like, yeah, I built it. And then it's like, oh well, yeah, well, we seeded a couple pairs to Jeremy Renner. You're like, cool. Like Jennifer
Okay.
Garner.
Okay.
Like, yeah, that's fun.
Okay.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
Jeremy Renner. I don't know if you heard he was in this accident, and like, yeah, we just
And
gave him
your
a bunch of.
shoes are helping him get into recovery.
Yeah,
Like that's crazy. Okay.
I was like, you couldn't have told me. I would have loved to like,
Hand deliver some shoes.
send him a video or like high fived him or something. It's like, no, you can't. You don't need to be a part of
Yeah.
that. And I was like, okay. Just the designer, whatever. But yeah, no. So it's just cool. I think again, you never know where something's gonna go.
Yep.
I mean, again, that was just like the Ghost Max 2. That season was just really tough.
Yeah.
Basically a couple weeks, 3-4 weeks a month, like to really, come back from a leave and then just like spin some designs and then make it. And
Yep.
to like what it is now is like, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of colorways and all this stuff, but to see like that's the shoe for Run Disney, plus the Adrenaline, which is pretty sick too. But to have,
Yeah.
3 colorways out of my shoe is like, it's crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean it
Yeah.
also speaks to kind of like we kind of touched on this in Valerie's episode too. It's like, it's called almost a glowing review of like the functionality and the beauty of the shoe itself, right? So like, we talked a little bit offline where it's like Valerie was looking at some of the shoes and she like wasn't talking necessarily about like the design, but she was talking about like the performance aspects
Right.
that all the runners care about. And I think it's like kind of when I found the Ghost Max, it was like, oh, like this is exactly kind of like the tech specs I want to run in, and it feels good, and it's kind of like par for the course. It was like right place, right time with the right look, and then also the right technical aspects. And so
Right.
it's also like a glowing review of like how functional and how good of a shoe the Ghost Max 2 is. Encapsulated in its design, but also encapsulated in its technical capability, and that Brooks and Disney were so proud of this shoe and so confident in its ability to work for Run Disney that
Right.
they wanted to do it on this shoe.
Yeah. And yeah, that's what it is. I mean, as it's that they see the connection.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a good product. It works. Let's make it cool and
it looks good.
and the partner up. And I mean, yeah, it's like I just think it's cool that, Brooks is doing stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly would have nothing that I ever thought was going to happen. Like, but when you get like, when you're $1 billion company, it just makes sense that like, oh yeah, like why are we not talking? I always wanted Brooks to do like a Microsoft. Like it was
Yeah.
all in Seattle. I was like, why don't you guys just like come
Yeah.
together and like
Yeah.
outfit? Like,
All of
um,
Microsoft.
I wish I could get paid for that idea, but I guess not. But
Cat's out the bag.
but they're not gonna listen to this anyway. So whatever. But yeah, no, it's cool. Got the Disney treatment. I got the minis. I'm gonna have them. I'll probably just stick them up there.
Mm-hmm.
It's. I'm trying not to be too, you know, jazzed about it, but like it's just so surreal. Like
Your inner child is like, actually, I'm kind of very stoked.
it's like what is this? Like
That's your life, dude. That's your life.
yeah, right. It's like you see, you're like, oh man, just a small town boy from Virginia here, just trying to get by. All right, well, let's get into it. The episode with Valerie Weilert. Again, awesome, groundbreaking. She's our third. Yeah, I mean, like senior level talent, like
Yeah.
the third one.
Yeah.
John Geisbert, not Geisbert, Gisbert. Dang it! See, I can't. Whatever. John Gisbert and Daniel Shirley.
Mm-hmm.
That's like that's like a dream team of people.
Yeah.
Man, if those three were in a room and given an assignment, I don't even know.
That's the Caitlin Clark shoe.
Oh yeah, man.
Just put them all in there.
Yeah. Let me be above it. Like let me be in there. Let me be the one that curates.
Yes. You're making the mood board.
Yeah. Like they'll
you're the
sketch
PLM.
this. I don't want to sketch. You don't need that. But we've
But
seen
I'll tell
my
you yes
sketches.
or no. We'll do yes or no.
Yeah.
This is not it. Continue to work on that.
They'll hold it up and I'm like, nope. Which kind of I really think it'd be fun to do a community designed shoe, like a Tech Paxer do, like
that would be sick.
Shoe project one day. We'll figure it out.
Yep.
That's probably going to happen because I just think it's so fun to have like,
yes.
once we get a community like big enough where like lots of people can submit stuff, we can just start mashing like people's shoes together. I think, and then we can curate by voting, draw over, and like for me, may the best shoe win,
Yeah. I mean, we can even do curated judging, like judging by like actual industry professionals, like
oof.
Sick.
We're gonna have critiques live. Caulin.
We're gonna make you do revisions.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoever it gets assigned to, good luck. I will not be tech packing it. I will maybe I could do it. It'd be fun.
Yeah. Main takeaways from Valerie's episode. Just such a good, like I said before, a minefield of just amazing information.
Yeah. And it was fun to hear her background. Did not know much of any of that. Sports and art kind of combining. Man, but I think, some of it was like undersold. Like, I mean,
she's a genuine article. Yeah. Yeah.
She loves to run. She had a foot injury on that episode. She was in a boot when she showed up, and I was like, oh crap. And she's like, is my boot gonna be on? I was like, no, your boot's not gonna be on. Like, we don't show feet. She's like, cool. And I was like, but she was like, yeah, well, I'm biking anyway. Like she's like, I just go and I can't stop. And I'm like, oh my gosh. It'd be nice to have that kind of a motor.
Right.
I love my sleep and I love my slow evenings,
Yes.
But man, she said something that was so cool. And that thing was that being an athlete and being in industrial design in college taught me how to time manage.
Yeah.
Which is so critical, and it gets more critical like the further you get in your career.
Mm-hmm.
The more styles you have, the
Mm-hmm.
more you're in charge of, um, and then the expectations that kind of build up on you.
Yeah.
Like as you rack the years, it's like kind of an unsaid thing that like people kind of look to get more out of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. They lean on you more.
yeah,
And
and
especially in Valerie's position as a manager, like design manager now. So
yeah,
like there's all of that,
and she was saying she was player coach. You know, she's doing her styles, and she has, I think she just has one under her, but
direct
even
report. Yeah.
still, that's a human life that you're
Yeah.
like trying to guide.
That's a
Um,
career. That's a, yeah.
yeah, it's a whole pathway. You're leaving a mark, you know, on
Mm-hmm.
somebody. Um, and so yeah, like you actually like have to be on your game.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I would not mind working under Valerie, even though, I mean, she, we might be eye to eye somewhere like in career path, but
Yeah.
no, dude,
She's like six foot
she's
two.
better
You're
than me.
6 foot. She's 6'2". You're 6 foot. So like,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah, it's like no,
no. She's a
she's a
genuine
massive
article.
talent. Yeah,
What's so funny is we talked about this offline. She is like so humble and sort of like blasé about it. She's like, well, I just do it. She's like, well, I just work for Giro Eastman Bell. Okay, first of all, Giro Eastman Bell, gigantic cycling company.
yeah,
This company is responsible for some of the highest performance equipment,
yep,
like it ever. You know,
yep,
it's like, oh, I'm just like, I just did that. I just worked there.
yeah.
Like, okay. Oh, I
And
just
I
worked
had
on
to,
Ironman 2.
yeah, and I had to be like, wait, hold on.
Run that back. Run that back real quick.
Because I had a hard time getting an internship at all.
Well,
Like,
again, it's like you're just that talented, I guess.
yeah,
It's like, man.
I mean, and I really had a sense of it then, and I had a sense of it in the episode when I worked with her and when I was talking to her. Is like, yeah, she just is not. She is a go-getter.
Mm-hmm.
She knows how to get it done,
Yeah.
and she just again, like I have this like unflappable. Like she is like,
Just cool under pressure.
yeah,
She like,
she's
yeah,
collected and she gets it done and she's confident. She radiates confidence. Like,
yeah, yeah.
and I really like, I think that's just something that comes with experience
Mm-hmm.
and with success. I think
Yeah.
like, look, if you're doing the Cielo and you're doing the Cielo, like fly the spike,
Yeah.
and you're doing the Cielo 2 and you're doing the 3, it's already done. You're confident. Like
Yeah.
you're like, I can get this done.
You're it.
And it really does sound like Hoka's just kind of like, what do you got this time?
Right.
I'm not going to touch it. Yeah, it sounds great. And that's
Yes,
another thing.
Valerie.
Like, yeah, if you're giving that level of space to her, then that's another testament to her talent, but also like, yeah, that helps the confidence level go shooting through the roof. But yeah, no. So it's like, clearly there's a natural talent. But I think as we were talking about this episode, we're like, but what about all the unnatural talents out there? The
Yes.
non
What
the
about
non
the
talents.
What
Yeah.
about the bumbling idiots?
Yeah.
Like what of us who want to work so hard to
Yeah.
try to be there?
I mean, I don't know. She sounds like she doesn't really even notice. Like she's just performing,
Mm-hmm.
like she's trained and she does
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Whereas me, it feels like I feel like I am like clawing to get like the
yes,
approval
yes,
of
yes,
of people, and I'm
yes.
trying, and I have to. There's like I realize in myself that there's a certain amount of time that I have to put in to keep like if
Yeah.
if I don't put that time in, my blade gets dull,
Yep.
and I'm like, oh crap, like
Right.
It's I
we
feel like I
we
have to
talk.
relearn.
Yeah,
She just
exactly.
feels like she's always on. It's
She's
not.
just it.
It's like
Well,
there's no plateau. It's just like she just keeps kind
if
of going
you,
up.
there are so many. Well, maybe they're few and far between, but I kind of feel like, especially in footwear, there are so many of people, so many talented designers like that, um, that like just exude this sort of like they just it's just easy. It's just easy for them.
Yeah.
I think I told you over the phone we were talking about. I had a senior industrial designer um, that I was talking to once. We had lunch, and I was like, "Man, like, why can't it be easy? Like, I think we were just like we were looking at some dude's portfolio before, and we like cut off the day, went to go grab lunch, and we were like just talking over lunch, and I was like, I feel like I have to work 80 times as hard to be 10% as good as this guy. Like,
Yeah.
what? It's absolutely unfair. Like, like I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like there are people there's always going to be someone better than you.
Yeah.
Um and and maybe work ethic is your talent, and maybe work ethic um is our success, right?
Yeah.
It's just a different perspective.
I think also like it's hard because what I think I'm really good at, it's hard to like meet someone who does that and also
Yeah.
you're like,
And also is just super good,
yeah. Because I think
like
I'm really good at,
John.
yeah. Well, like John's like I pride myself on like my lines being really crisp or,
Mm-hmm.
things being like super dialed, like almost so clean that it's like maybe robotic. Like
Yeah.
I just want to be like, boom, like here it is.
Yeah.
And I've lost a bit of that expression, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is cool too. I think the other side is like John has all that expression
Mm.
and there's an attitude and a movement and like something he's trying to get at there. Um, I think Valerie has a bit of that expression too, but she also is very dialed and refined. And I think
Mm-hmm.
there's just like different avenues, but they all like a sketch doesn't like become live. Like it
Right.
all runs through the filter of creation of product.
Right.
And so I don't even think like you can sometimes look at a shoe and determine what sketch style created the
Yeah.
product in the end. It's
Yeah.
like a vision thing. But it is funny, like, oh man, just to have, I don't know, like, I feel like John, his level of creativity and outside the box thinking, I think, is
Mm-hmm.
like really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I say this all the time, but I know when I feel like I'm middle of the road when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then Valerie, I think, has a lot of technical
Yeah.
expertise.
Ability. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like when we picked up the shoe, she instantly launches into like the tech.
Yeah.
And I was just like, is that what we want to know about? Like some people really do. Like they
Yeah.
care.
And I'm that dude. Like
Yeah.
that's where I'm gonna be like, oh, what compound was this rubber? Or like, how is this? How do these toolings fit together, or whatever? And like, some people
Yeah.
just don't care about that. But it's not that they don't care about that, but they have a particular focus on something else.
Right. It just like for me, I was like, wait, that's great. Stack 40 mm,
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
32
yeah,
mm. I
yeah,
was
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, yeah, but why does it look like this, man?
Yeah, you're like, why is there a bifurcated line?
Yeah. I can't believe I said bifurcated.
Hey man, you're technical too.
But
She came at you with stack, you came at her with bifurcated.
I was just like, that's not the same at all. Oh my gosh.
I
I
did like her explanation though, because she's like, oh yeah, you can see the
like
compression. It's like
springboard.
a springboard. I was like, oh, that's cool.
I was like, great. She's like, we've been doing it on other shoes. And I looked and I saw it on other shoes. And I was like,
It's family.
what a strange thing to repeat. Like, if I,
Yeah, but why not?
yeah, I was like,
Well, then
but
that's where
then,
your question comes, where you're like, so it seems like Hoka just lets you do whatever you want.
yeah, That's my interpretation of Hoka design language is do whatever you want. Like,
Dude, it looks cool. It looks good though.
yeah, well, I mean, but there is still like a level of Hoka-ness to it.
Yes, yes. It's still very cohesive.
But yeah, like in the line, you can tell they're all derivative.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, there are so many things I saw on that shoe. I was like, like, wouldn't it be cleaner if the lines, like these like little like wave lines, were not there? But in an effort to like talk about this springboard thing, and I'm like, yeah. But I get the springboard. But why is it sparkly? Like,
Right.
and you're like, well, you got to be quick and stuff. And I was
You gotta
like, remember
zhuzh it
this?
up. You
Yeah,
gotta zhuzh it up.
yeah. And she's like, well, I just like the little like toe cap was like laddered, and I was like, Valerie, like, why? And she's like, I don't know, zhuzh it up. I'm like, and in my mind, I was like, there's no zhuzhing at Brooks. Like, there was not a zhuzh. Like, zhuzhing was like, you don't say that. Like, it was like, tell me why. Like, why is that there? What's the performance
Yeah.
benefit? And you're like,
Brooks is zhuzhless.
yeah, no zhuzh.
There's
You
no
can't zhuzh
zhuzh.
at Brooks. Like, I mean,
But that's
even on the
what I love about it is we're talking about it, and it like it floats to the top of the grand scheme of like why Hoka is successful and what their brand is all about too. Though it's like
right,
a lot of their marketing, a lot of everything they're doing is like very playful, very young, very zhuzhy, if you will. Like, you see it on the feet of like the hottest runners in the LA run clubs here. It's like they're all dressed to the nines in running gear, and those Hokas are like, the number one spot on the outfit grid. So it's like I think that is exactly Hoka. That exact encapsulation of emotion is exactly Hoka. And then talking about how Brooks is zhuzhless and everything is technical and everything is performance. Like, you look at a brand like Brooks and you feel that. And they're trying to add more of the young nature, which I think they're successfully doing in a way, like the staple collab, bringing out like a bring back of the, Adrenaline GTS, and then like doing this mini Mickey Mouse collab. That's very cool. Like, that's, but I think exactly what we're talking about is exactly what those brands are.
Yeah, right. And that's not to say that there, it's not that there's no zhuzhing, but
It's
there
just
isn't
different.
though. It's like dialed. Like,
Yeah.
there is no line that is out of place there.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas like Hoka is like this expression. Even like I look at the Bondi, she designed that. She didn't bring it in, but it's like there's a lot more expression. There's imperfection. There's not, some lines don't speak to each other. There's all these things that you just like, but I think it calls to like that there can be success elsewhere. Not everything needs to be dialed in.
Yeah.
You don't have to have 50 stories on a shoe to sell it, or you can have 50 stories on a shoe and be highly successful.
You can hang a Rembrandt in the same museum as a Warhol, and they are both artworks, and they are both incredible and amazing in their own rights, but they are very different. They're very different. They're both paint on canvases, or whatever, but they're both valuable, just different.
Yeah. And I think it goes without saying, like, I tried to probe her about like running and like how that's been beneficial to being in a running company and being in running positions. I think she could be successful outside of running, just because we've already heard her experience. She's been as successful everywhere she's gone.
Yeah.
Not that I say like she probably had some failures. We just didn't get into it, but it's like she seems like she's just like grown and grown and grown.
Yeah.
But I'd say like she knows her stuff, like, which I think is super, like, and we got into that too, where I don't think you have to necessarily know running to design running,
Yeah.
but I think she knows, like, sometimes I forget the stack I put on a shoe.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I forget, what the forefoot is, the width of the forefoot, or
Yeah.
or what a plate's doing, or like some of those technical things, like I don't get lost in, but she's like, no, this is what it does. And that it makes complete sense of why she would be in a performance run
Capacity.
situation, especially a
Yeah.
high performance marathon trainers,
Yeah.
spikes. She has
Hmm.
experience, and that experience, I mean, it's kind of it's a little bit of an anomaly to have that much running experience and
Hmm.
be a shoe designer. Um,
Yeah.
I'm sure Nike has a fair share of those, but
100%.
I have not met very many that are that like running focused
Yeah.
and a designer, which is it's pretty legit.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. I mean, I think, I don't know. I think the consensus, maybe I'm going to say something a little controversial here, but I think it's beneficial to, become your consumer in a way, but I think it can also hurt you sometimes,
yeah.
because so I've heard, there are several people on, LinkedIn in the industry who have, mentioned like, you are running, if you are a, running shoe designer, you should be running. Um,
Right.
I definitely think like, yeah, like I think everyone should try it or you should at least understand it. But I also think like if you are a hardcore die-hard runner, um, it's already hard enough as it is as a designer to kind of separate yourself from the sport because you're trying to be a conduit for what other people need and want out
Mm-hmm.
of this product. So yes, it's a valuable perspective to have, but it also puts you a little more in the mix and it becomes more difficult to separate yourself. Like, am I adding this for
Yeah.
me because I like to run in max cush shoes and I really think that like I need to increase the stack? Or is it like, actually, this really needs to be a lower stack height shoe because that's the product that got briefed to me, you know,
Yeah.
I could see that, being a detriment sometimes.
Or you can say like, yeah, since I've run in these shoes or this shoe over here, I know that the runner is not going to want this thing. But really it's like a bias that you've built up. And so it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like if you are able to step outside yourself and be a
Mm-hmm.
runner and be able to look critically at what you need to look at and not premeditate your moves based on something you've done,
Yeah.
then I think sure. I mean, like that, it's that level of premeditation. I think that kind of can kind of cripple design. Like if you think I don't think that's always good. And sometimes you're
Yeah.
right, right? But I don't think like anyone should come into something thinking they know
Yeah.
what something should be, especially when you're working in the future. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Trying
yeah,
to be a tastemaker, trying to make things new.
yeah.
Um,
Um, okay, last thing, her make or break, which I thought was legit. That was a question Colin sent over. I didn't know. I sent all the questions over to her. Didn't know what she'd pick. Um, and the make or break was like really cool. I didn't realize she was gonna just like dive into that. But I don't know if anyone caught it because I wanted to make sure to bring it up. Like, so she had three things that were make or breaks for footwear designers, and the first one was ego. You got to let that ego go. Can't be the star, right? You got to be. It's a heavily empathetic listening to all sides. You're managing up, you're managing down, you're managing side to side. Um, so ego's got to be out of the window, and you just I don't know. People talk to you if you don't have an ego, and then work-life balance, which we got into a little bit, um, talking about vacations and getting out of the office, like leaving. Like if you get done early, like just go. Like, or if
yeah.
if it's, if it's, especially if it's a Friday and you're like, well, it's 3:30. And you're like, well, I gotta just get and like clear your mind and come refreshed and, take some burden off yourself. The one I wanted to talk about, so that was really cool, was she's talked about the internet as like a make or break.
Yeah.
And I think that's so interesting because it's something I didn't. it's, I don't know why it hit me really hard, because I had moments in my career when I was learning that um I had a hard time putting pen to paper when I got
Mm-hmm.
into a position of, I don't know, like maybe we just talked about these revisions, or we talked about ideation, and like maybe people didn't like a round of sketches that I presented or something.
Mm-hmm.
But like I think there's a thought where you could clam up, or you could get distracted by, whatever, and you just kind of hope the problem goes away.
Yeah.
Um, but I found more often than not, what the answer usually is to go somewhere, clear your schedule, and just sketch, like do the thing that you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And when I was at Brooks, we always would talk about like unlocking, like if you do another sketch, you're like, just keep going and maybe you'll unlock something, you'll just, not to gamify it a little bit, but kind of like you
Yeah.
level up, like,
Yeah.
um, and I really just felt like the only way to like attack problems sometimes was not to go on Pinterest, was not to go Mid-Journey shoes, was not to go. It is like, what is in your brain and what is coming out of your hand. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's like, I totally agree that that's a make or break. Like,
Yeah. Like when she did
yeah,
it, when you kind of pushed her on it and asked her about it, you're like, kind of what are you doing? And she's like, well, like I can come up with a million things from looking at one thing. And she was like, I'm gonna look at that sign, and I've got 20 things right now off the top of my head that I can kind of like push and pull and figure it out, right? Like,
right.
um, that I had never thought of that, I'm kind of guilty of being like, oh, okay, well, I need to let me go build a mood board. Let me
Mm,
go figure out what the vibe is. Let me go whatever.
right.
And I've been trying to push myself to be more like, hey, like let's start from some like original source material. Like
Yep.
where am I finding it? Is it from me? Is it
Yep.
a photo that I took? Is it a whatever that I did? Is it something that I found, at a library or a museum, or
Hmm.
something other than me being on a screen and seeing the same things that are getting fed to hundreds of thousands of designers looking for similar stuff.
Right. It's,
So,
yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, what can I do that's original?
mhm.
Um, and the thing you can do that is original is pull out a pad, pen,
And
and
just
paper,
work.
and put lines down. And I think she said, like, like she's like, I like to get into a meeting where like maybe I don't need to be there, or I'm not supposed to be there, or it doesn't really matter if I pay attention or not. My body just needs to be in the room,
Hmm.
like meetings like that happen. And, what happens there when you're just kind of like noodling around? For me, I feel like the best inspiration is if I stay after 5 and everyone clears out. It's
Hmm.
like for some reason I can just feel like the air is a little different.
Hmm.
No one's around to like say
No
yes or
pressure.
no.
Yeah.
No one's gonna walk up to your desk and like say something. I also like late night, like not late
Hmm.
night, but like, everything's kind of winding down,
Chilling on the
and
couch.
yeah, you can just kind of doodle and create. And even if that doesn't like get the job done, at least you've like spit out some ideas and like
Hmm.
let things marinate a little bit. Then you can go to bed, you can wake up, you can like maybe even forget some of those spins you've done, open it up and say, oh, that was kind of interesting. And then you can
Hmm.
continue that path. You can kind of connect dots.
Yeah.
Um, but really, it's like, I really think you have, like, in order to get through a problem or to find a solution, it's like you have to do it.
Hmm.
And there's no one else that can do it. There's nothing that's going to replace, like, you're going to have to sketch at some point.
Hmm.
Attack it early, attack it often. And yeah, it's definitely one of those ones where I'm like, man, I mean, I wish I would have known that, a couple years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. Sometimes you just feel like you can't move. You're like, oh man, like this deadline is so
Yeah.
tight and I'm so gripped that like I don't even know what to do. But it's like you just kind of chisel away,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be surprised at what you can do. I mean, just believe, you just kind of
Yep.
believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Don't put things off, like I think there's so many distractions, and you can read all these books, you can read all this stuff, but it's like not, it's in the action that is
Yeah.
going to be where and it's kind of like this podcast. The first mission statement that we like put out there when I was like, oh man, well, here's my 3 things. It's like really just, I wanted to put it out because I want to be doing something constantly.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
I want to just do it, say I'm going to do it. I was telling my wife, I got a podcast idea. I told my buddy, I got a podcast idea. I told the guys at Brooks before I left, got a podcast idea. And like everyone just kind of like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I don't think anyone expected me to actually do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, like,
It's happening.
yeah, the buck stops here. I'm going to do it.
And here we are.
So we did it.
115 subscribers in.
Yeah. We just got to keep it rolling. I think, so just kind of preview. If you're still with us right now, probably not, whatever. The previews are just that. I think we're going to do another sketch sesh. I'm like just me. We have a couple guests. We're kind of batch film some guests because we need to spread some things out over the next couple months because I'm going to be busy real soon.
Yep.
And this, I think Caulin might be taking the reins for a little bit, but yeah, I mean, cat's out of the bag. I'm going to have another kid. And so we're going to have to be, we're going to have to figure this out. So
we're going to ebb and flow.
Luckily, we'll get some, we'll get a bulk batch of a podcast shot for everybody so we can keep this thing moving. We got, I mean, literally 4 guests, like,
yeah,
like ready to go. So, we will have plenty of content. And then there is a big surprise coming up, and that Caulin will be present for episodes.
I'm coming to Oregon, baby.
Yeah, he's going to be here. So
the Oregon Trail.
It won't just be me putting the mics up. It won't just be me putting the cameras up.
Yep.
So it's going to be awesome. Yeah, no, so we're excited. Everyone's been asking Caulin to come on to some of these guest appearances. We're trying to make that happen. Caulin is nice enough. Again, we're dipping into our own pockets here to come up, to be a part of it. It's going to be sick. We'll hopefully get that looking good. And then we'll have more, just continue to add and hopefully have one of these kind of remote ones where we're going to try to do a 3-person remote, which I think should go well. But man, I mean, the sky's the limit. I think the more we do this, the more we realize like there's a lot of fun happening here. So
yeah.
Oh, Caulin, you got anything else to say?
Just thank you to the listeners. Keep at it. Keep subscribing and liking, letting us know what you want to see, letting us know if you want to be on the podcast. If you're part of the industry, we'd love to have you on. We'd love to put you in the roster that we've got going. But that's Tech Packs Are Due. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up, so just stick with us.
That's right. Tech Packs Are Due, Footwear Design Podcast. I am Jake. Caulin is Caulin. Keeping it real. We will see you soon. Stay with us. Keep it going. Watch Valerie's again. Go back to John's. Go back to Dan's if you need some inspiration this week. Always good. All right. We'll catch you on the next one. See ya.
Peace, guys.